Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 289th installment in the Torah portion of the week. We are holding here in Eretz Yisrael by Parshat Balak. Again, we're still a week ahead. You can watch my video on Parshat Chukas, spoke about last week. So Parshat Balak, all about the story of Bilaam. The evil non-Jewish prophet, and Balak, seemingly the king of Moab, hires him, or the king of the Amorites, hires him to curse the Jewish people, right? The whole story, what happens with Bilaam and Balak. So here Torah says, chapter 22, verse 6. Torah tells me, so now please come and curse the people for me. That's what Balak says to Bilaam. For it is too powerful for me. Perhaps I'll be able to strike it, drive it away from the land. For I know that whoever you bless is blessed, whoever you curse is cursed. Right, whoever you curse is accursed. Right, that's what the Torah says. In other words, Balak says to Bilaam, I understand you have power. Right, you have power of the tongue. Right, and you have the ability to curse. So he says, let's make a deal. The Jewish people are very powerful. I can't overcome them. Right, my arm is not strong enough to overcome them. So you know what? Let's make a deal that you curse them. Right? Because whoever you bless is blessed, whoever you curses, is going to be cursed. Says Moy Rebbe, I rather go to Moshe should be well. And it brings down in Parshat Balak and his commentary in Chumash and Tam V'das. And he says, I got a question over here. That if Bilaam had the power to bless, Bilaam's got no unbelievable power to bless. Why didn't Balak say, give him a blessing? They should be successful in this war against Israel. Why going so far to say that the Jewish people should be cursed? Why curse them? Let Balak be successful in war. Yeah. So he says, one answer is, this is the nature of evil people. Evil people that hate the Jews. Why? Because all they want is bad. All they want is bad for the Jewish people. They don't want anything good for them. So therefore, what? For the better of themselves, Balak says, hate the Jewish people so much. Forget about blessing me. Not interested in being blessed. Now I should be successful. The war should be successful, against them. I hate the Jewish people so much. I want them cursed. That's why I wasn't blessed. A mind-boggling idea. That the hatred is so strong against the Jewish people. Better to curse the Jewish people than to bless him. That's one idea. Second idea is I can explain it in a different way. He says, according to nature, if Moab was so strong and they had so much power, right, and they were more powerful than the Jewish people, where are the Jewish people now? Jewish people are wandering around the desert. Yeah, with all their strength, they're in the desert. Right, essentially, they're in the desert. Nonetheless, they survived miraculously. They know the story, what happened while they were in Egypt. Even though they're wandering around in the desert, you might say they have the upper hand. He's still afraid. He still has unbelievable fear. Why do they have unbelievable fear? You're not a fool. He knows what the Jews have, what happened to them. He knows how they wiped out Egypt, the world power. So even though they're in the desert, they're wandering around, they got plenty of power. They got God behind them. Right? They have unbelievable power over here. Because God loves them. And the Jewish people were chosen. So what happened? The Jewish people survived, way above nature, miracles, absolute miracles. God saves them from their enemies. Comes on Balak. Balak said he wants to make war with the Jewish people. And obviously he's afraid of their power. What he wants to talk about. But he's afraid. What does Balak desire? He wants to fight against the Jewish people. He wants to fight against the Jewish people in order to subjugate them, to make them, subservient, to have humility, really to humiliate them. So therefore, since he wants to do all these things, blessing not going to help him. He needs Bilaam to curse, not to bless. In other words, he wants to do these terrible things. The Jewish people, even though the Jewish people have a lot of power, they're supported by God. He doesn't want the blessing. He wants to curse. He wants them to be cursed because he knows God is with them. So therefore, what if Bilaam curses them? They're going to have an eye in horror. They're going to be bad in God's eyes. God will look down upon them. And therefore, there'll be some sort of blemish. And through that, God won't help them. God will hide his face from them. And then Balak will be strong. And Balak will be able to overcome them. Mind-boggling idea. Right? Also mind-boggling idea over here. What's that? What Balak reasons like this. He says, I want to subjugate them. So how's the blessing going to help? So I really want to subjugate them. He says, the Rebbe here says, what do I want to do? I want to find a weakness. I want to find a weakness in them. When I find a weakness in them, there's going to be a blemish. When there's going to be a blemish, God's not going to look at them the same. He's not going to protect them. It's game over. It's game over. That's essentially what he wants. Because once he gets them to trip up, in whatever way, God's not going to look at them the same. Not going to look at them the same way. And God is therefore what? He'll turn away. He'll, God forbid, turn away from the Jewish people. Then what's going to happen? They're in trouble. They don't have that same divine protection. So, two unbelievable ideas here, right? First idea, we'll flush out a little bit more, right? The first idea is that really Balak should have asked for a blessing. Bilaam has the ability to bless. Should have blessed him. Should have blessed him for success in war against the Jewish people. Yeah, but Balak understands, as Rebbe points out, he hates the Jews no matter what. Just like many people out there hate Jewish people, right? They hate the Jewish people. So forget about the blessing. I'm interested in the blessing when it comes to Jewish people? No, totally not. What am I interested in? I want to curse them. Even though it could have been done a different way. When it comes to anti-Semitism and hatred against Jews, many, many times we spoke about anti-Semitism. Many, many times it's totally irrational. They'll say stuff against the Jews. They say, oh, they're so rich and they have so much power and this and that. What about in a country where they don't? They're poor. Or, they're in charge of this, in this country, but another country they're not. Whatever, many things are total opposites. Total opposites in other places. It can't be the reason for anti-Semitism. Because the old adage goes, Esav hates Yaakov. Yeah, there's anti-Semitism. Why is there anti-Semitism? Because there is. And that's never going to end until the Messiah comes. Sometimes it'll be better. Sometimes not. Seemingly before the Messiah comes, it'll be a lot worse. A lot worse than what it is now. I mean, it's pretty bad now, but, could get even worse. But see, that's the power of an anti-Semite. That's the power of someone who hates the Jewish people. In other words, you can come against them in a different way, in a more positive way for them, for themselves. Right? Not just against the Jewish people, but more positive. Why don't they want it? Because that's the nature of an anti-Semite. That's the nature of someone who hates Jews. What? I should be blessed. I should have strength over them. No, curse them. Curse them out. That's what should be done. Yeah, mind-boggling idea. That's how far hatred goes against Jewish people. That's the first idea. Second idea, right? Second idea over here is that he understands how powerful they are. And so God is supporting them. God is helping them. God wiped out Egypt, the world power. He's got real fear. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So how's he going to get them? How is he going to get them? How is he going to be able to attack them? What's the answer? Answer is find a blemish in them. He finds something that God's going to hate. It's going to bring about God's ire, God's anger. And if a person does that, and if they do that, what's going to happen? God is not going to favor them. God is going to look the other way. If God looks the other way, they're in trouble. Right? If God hides his face, what are they going to do? How can they survive? They'll be overrun. Right, so you see what happens in the end. He's not able to curse them. So how does he get them to sin? Right, idolatry and immorality go hand in hand over here. It's one of the things God hates. Two major things God hates: idolatry and immorality. So that 24,000 people died. Found their weak spot. And when you find the weak spot, God gets angry. God gets very angry. And he wiped out 24,000 people. Like at the end of the parsha, Pinchas comes. Pinchas comes and, and kills the two doing the Judah bug. Right? Zimri and Cosby Batsur. Kills them like a shish kebab. And God's anger is appeased. So we'll see next week in Parshas Pinchas. Right? Or 2 weeks for everyone else. But the idea is the Jews have a weakness, and that weakness gets exploited. The divine help that God gives, he takes away. And when God takes away that divine help, we're subjected to the nation. Is there any possible way for the Jews to survive in such a way? No. Be impossible. 100% be impossible. And we'll be in trouble, serious trouble. We need that ability to have this divine protection. If you don't have divine protection, chance of survival, pretty slim. In many ways. Like here in the land of Israel. People say it's the power of the army. Not the power of the army. A lot of mess ups in the army. Wouldn't be people sitting and learning and God watching over them, we wouldn't be here. Could all these Arab nations want to destroy us? You need God's help. You definitely need God's help. You don't have God's help, it's over. So if Balak over here finds some weakness in the Jewish people, and then God's going to get angry, so then they don't have that divine protection. Once they don't have that divine protection anymore, what's going to happen? They're in trouble. 100% they're in trouble. And we see throughout Tanakh, it's like a sine curve. Jewish people do the right thing, they go up. God takes care of them in a miraculous way. Jews do the wrong thing, they go down. Right up and down. So when we have the temple in Jerusalem, we were way up here. God's presence, all that. Temple's destroyed, rebuilt. The exact same things in the second temple as did in the first. And then Jewish people got thrown out. Almost got totally destroyed. And they got all these pogroms and everything else until 2,000 years later, miraculously, we're back in the land. Guarantee we're going to stay there till the Messiah comes? No. Because the Medrash says that the Messiah is going to bring the Jews from outside of Israel, from the desert. It's going to bring them in. Some say that's literally we're going to be thrown out. It's hard to imagine today. Could happen, or it's a parable. It could very well be a parable as well. Regardless, bottom line, You don't have divine protection, you're subject to everyone else. And chance of survival is much less. Especially you got all these Arabs wanting to destroy the Jewish people. It'd be a miracle to survive. It'd be an absolute miracle. But that's the idea. That's the second idea. Balak comes along and says, let's find a weakness. Let's find a weakness where there's no divine protection, where I don't have divine protection. Jewish people can't survive. They can't survive. That's the power. That's the power of sin. That you lose divine protection. You got to fight for what we want. You got to fight to be close to God. You got to fight to keep Torah mitzvahs. So I want to remind everyone, I give a class of Duties of the Heart every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern time in the gate of self-accounting. I have 2 Q&As every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Israel time. Saturday, Pirkei Avos, Ethics of Our Fathers, 2:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Israel time. Sunday, Book of Leviticus chapter 16, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Israel time. The Noahide Nations, Duties of the Heart, starting from the beginning, right? The introduction. That's 2:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Israel time on Sunday. And I have conversion classes. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman, or Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism. You can find me at orthodoxconversion.com, or Beyond Orthodox Conversion to Judaism on YouTube. There I got videos on Torah portion of the week, Ethics of Our Fathers, controversial issues, Q&As, Book of Leviticus chapter 16, chapter 15, etc. And I have conversion classes. And anyone wants to contact me, find me, you can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RBBIChaimCoffman @gmail.com.